Good evening and welcome to Culinary 101. My name is Tracy Godfrey, and tonight on the menu is lamb shank in croûte. And we had this on my honeymoon about 4 years ago down in Mexico. And it was probably the nicest thing that I have ever tasted. It's real quick, it's real simple to put together, but it does take a while to cook. So what we're going to do is get the lamb shanks out right now. And I'm going to show them to you. And to put this thing together, it takes no time at all. Went to my favorite butcher, and I said, hey, Leo, you got to hook me up with the best lamb shanks that you can find. And guess what? Leo did. So look at this. This is what we're going to have tonight, this lamb shank. It's about 4 inches, and we're going to saute these things off in a pot. And then add our mirepoix, which is our celery, carrots, and onions, and a couple spices to it. Fill it with water, throw it in the oven. And you're going to let it sit in the oven for probably about an hour, 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half until it's done. So now, let me put that over there. I'll raise this right here. Look at that. Look at this lamb shank. Look at that puppy. Now that's a shank right there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at these things. These things are just awesome. So let me grab this pot real quick. Put a little bit of oil in there. Just swirl it around. You want to try to set them up as much as you can so they stand upright. Put that in there. Celery, carrots. Now we're going to go ahead and put the onion in there. When you do a mirepoix, it's 3 carrots, 3 celery sticks to 1 onion. And this is going to be about a half of an onion right here that we just put in there. And you're just going to chop these puppies up like that. You're going to throw them in there, grab your towel, take it on over here. We're going to shear these things off a little bit, get them going. Rosemary and thyme. You just throw it in there. You don't even have to be cute with it. Nothing to it. Throw that all in there like that. And clean this up. Now, you want to go easy. 1 garlic clove. It's all you're going to need in this thing is 1 garlic clove. Now a little bit of salt. Season them up really good with a little bit of the sea salt. This time, black pepper, red pepper, green pepper, white pepper. You want that combination of flavors. There we go. And that's it. We're going to go ahead and let this little guy simmer down a little bit. We're going to shear it up. Then we're going to fill this with some water. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick it right into this oven. And we're going to forget about it for about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. All right. See how this is starting to cook down? See how the meat is shrinking down on the bone already? Look at this. You see this? You think it's burnt right there in the pan? That's not burnt right there, baby. That's flavor. That's flavor. That's called fond. And you want to get that. Now they're down. The meat is shrunk down on the bone. All right? What we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to fill this puppy with some hot water. Now you want to fill this up, but not too much because it's going to overflow. Okay? Because when you put the lid on this thing, throw it in the oven, you want to give it some room to expand. So about 1.5 inches or so. So right there is good, and you're going to have to keep a little bit more. You're going to have to just keep watching it because I'll show you what I did. There's a little check because sometimes it will get so hot that it overboils. So now we're going to open up the oven. And see what I did is I put a sheet pan on the second shelf down there. I'm going to take this lid. We're going to put this puppy right there. We're going to shut the heat off on this guy. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. Just like that. We're putting it in at 425 degrees, okay? It's going to sit there for, like I said, hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. I would say in about an hour, check it, okay? Now what we're going to go ahead and do, I've got some chicken stock going on here, and we have some butter. I'm going to go ahead and throw the butter on a real low heat. I want to just go ahead and melt it down, just get it wet, because when you work with the phyllo dough, you got to take a paintbrush and lay out a sheet of phyllo dough, and then you're going to paintbrush it, and then you put another layer on it, and you brush it with butter. Another layer, and you're going to stack layers like that, because when these puppies are done, we're going to take them and put them right inside the phyllo dough, and then we're going to wrap them up really nice and neat, and then we're going to go ahead and brush the outside of the phyllo dough with some butter, and then we can shoot them right back up into the ovens and call it dinner. The vegetable I chose was carrots, and we're going to turn ham. We're going to make them like little footballs. So I did some ahead of time, and what you do is you go ahead and cut your carrot. You don't even have to skin it. About 1.5 inches high is what you want to do. Go ahead and cut it down. You want to square off 4 sides, just like that. Make them even. You can put this off. Always save your extras because you're going to do something else with them tomorrow or the day after. Now it's square, just like this, okay? You want to start in the middle of it, and you're going to go ahead and work your way to the center this way, and then back down to the middle this way. Right on that corner edge. You see that? How it tapers? And right back down. Just like that. Now they get a little slippery because they're so small, so you got to really watch it. Don't cut yourself. Just like that. And then you got a smooth part, just cut it off and call it a day. That's your little tournée. What I did was some Parisian potatoes. And I did them ahead of time. And what you do is you just take a potato and you go ahead and peel a sucker and take a little melon baller and you just go ahead and sink it right in there like this as far as you can. And then you go ahead and you turn it. And then you just knock it into water. And then these potatoes, tomorrow, put them on a shredder. Use them for hash browns or whatever you want to use them for. So now we have these vegetables set up. So what we're going to do is just drain the water out of here. And we're going to take these vegetables right now, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put them right into the chicken stock. And we're going to cook them al dente. So we crank that puppy up like that. And then these guys, the potatoes. What we're going to do is we're going to saute them off in a little bit of butter. And we're going to just season them with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, nothing major. Now the leeks. I'm going to go ahead and cut these leeks, but we're going to use them as a garnish on the plate. And we're just going to go ahead and just cut them really thin, and we want to try to keep them saucer. If you cut them too thin, they'll break apart. Too thick, they look ugly. So look at, this is about how thick you want these things. All right. Then what we're going to do is slice this leek open. What we're going to do is cut this guy off like that. Open it up, and we're going to use this as a tie for the very top of the phyllo dough. So you're going to take your knife, and you're going to run a nice little strip right down the side. Just follow the contour of it like this. And then we're going to tie it like a ribbon, okay? So we're going to set this right here, and we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and walk over here, and we're going to check at the stove and see what's going on there. Okay? The butter is melted. You don't have to do anything more. As soon as you got the butter hot, just shut the puppy off. Sit it right over there, and we're good to go. Okay, so what we're going to do, I said keep this puppy hot, so we're just going to keep it right over here on the back burner. We're going to do our Parisian potatoes. So we're going to turn this guy on, and we're going to saute him down just a little bit. I've got a little bit of butter over here. We're going to make these potatoes just really, really happy. I use butter because the potatoes are going to take on a good color with the butter. And I'm going to saute them until they get a nice color. And then you notice the pan I'm using, it's all metal. It's going to go right into the oven right next to your lamb shanks. So here goes. Here goes the potatoes. You don't need it to be sizzling hot or anything else like that because it's going to get there. Okay, now what we're going to do, I always reach in front of the camera. I don't know why. A little bit of salt. That's all you're going to need. Just a little bit of salt on these puppies. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Saute them in butter, throw them in the oven, and let them get a little bit soft, and that's your potato for your meal. Okay, you see the color that it's taken on with the butter, and the butter hasn't burned, so we're just going to shut this off right now because they're about halfway cooked. And then what we're going to do is just leave them up on top here. Come on over to here. Grab your trusty little towel. Grab your carrots because they're done. They're al dente. We're going to put them right into an ice bath because we're going to saute them with the potatoes in just a little while, okay? So we're going to just leave these things soak right here. And we're going to check on this puppy in here and see how it's doing. Okay, so it's still just getting there. So we're just going to leave it. It's probably got another good hour to cook. So, okay, our lamb shanks ought to be done by now. We're going to come over to the oven. We're going to take them out. Like I said, they took about an hour and a half, and you're probably wondering why I do it this way. If you leave it up on top of your stove and you cook it that way, 1, they burn. 2, the water dries out too quick, and you always got to keep refilling that thing, so it's like you're making it even tougher. This way it cooks at a steady heat, nice and even, and it's nice and tender. So let's go check these things out. Ooh. Look at this thing. These things are going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let's just see how tender they're going to be now. Look at that. Now what we're going to do is take them out because we're going to use this fluid here, this juice, as its own sauce. Just set them here, and we're going to cover them with a little bit of tin foil. Now shut the oven off. We're going to put it back in the oven and just let them go ahead and hang out there. See how that's come off the bone like that? You know that thing is going to be tender. We're just going to wrap them up. We just want to keep them warm, okay? Because when you work with the phyllo dough, you don't want these things dripping wet, because as soon as you put them on that phyllo dough, it's going to get moist. So you want to get them on the phyllo dough, put them on a sheet pan, and throw them right back in the oven, let them brown, and then take them out, plate it, and serve it, okay? So we're going to open this guy back up, and we're just going to set these things in there just to keep them warm. So that's done. Now the next thing we're going to do is drain this sauce off right here. Thicken it up while it's in this pan. Well, the reason why I don't do that is because the binding agent is going to go ahead and stick on everything else that's there. And we're going to go ahead and just kick up the heat on this puppy now, all the way up on high. We're going to bring this to a roaring boil. Now our butter is melted. You see our butter? See the white stuff right here? This is all fat. So we're going to take a spoon. We're going to skim it off. We're going to put it right here. Now I know this meal takes a little bit of time out of your day, but it's well worth it. And you're going to have to just like plan ahead for it and just be ready just to go with it. So plan your day a little bit ahead of time. Start at about 4 in the afternoon. You'll be done by 7:30 and you'll be ready to go.